Scotty, beam me up.
Smash.
Get over here! It is pointless to resist.
All right. We got a special episode of the Geek Den here. We got Craig Lewis coming to us from an undisclosed location in Mexico. How's it going, my man?
I'm doing pretty freaking great at this very moment, and I'm really grateful to be here with the two of you. Thanks for making everything so nice and welcoming and friendly for me, so we can have a really nice, kind, and beneficial for all conversation discussion today.
Absolutely. Man. That's what we do here, man. We love to have everybody have a good time and walk away with a smile on their face. And you know, we make new friends out of this show. It's been a great, it's been an excellent thing for my brain.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
You know what? That's where I've been at recently, is this intentional attempt, or I guess not just attempt, but intentional process of change.
Yeah.
And so, like what you just said, that it's good for your heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you said that
it's good for my heart and it's good for my head.
Friends, good for your head. Well, you know.
Yeah,
I also heard heart, but I know you said head today.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. When it really comes down to it, you have to take care of both, because they're like intrinsically connected. So, but I realized like that's what I'm like actively trying to do in my life as well, is connect, because I never really learned how to. I'm sick and tired of not having the things I deserve. That I'm worthy of as a human being, just by being born, no matter what ever happened. So thanks for just opening this up and this comfort.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Expressing like the very sort of things I'm trying to, well, not just accomplish for myself because I want it for myself, but I also like I know how to help people accomplish this stuff, which is why I write what I do. So you know, just because you write a book about doing something and making things like changing yourself doesn't mean you don't have the person who wrote it isn't still like a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah. So yes, thanks for being human and humane.
Of course. That's what we are, man. And like, and that's why we do the show, and like that's why we bring like people on. Like we've had some fairly big guests in the punk industry, like some bands come on that maybe we've looked up to, like 10-Foot Pole for me was a big one. And like we've had our friends in bands come on, like Chaser and Suburban Downgrade, bands like that. But we want to talk to more authors and people in other fields, not just musicians. You know what I mean? Because it, like, we want to focus on the punk rock. We want to focus on the other things that these punks are doing. You know what I mean? Not just so. What is it that you do? We wanted to talk about that. We know you wrote a couple of books.
We know you got a message to spread too. So
and you got a story to tell.
Thank you for this beautiful introduction and segue into exactly what matters.
Yeah.
I'm an unintentional author.
Right.
I became an author, I guess, by default. I'm 47 years old, right? And I haven't always been. I haven't always been where I'm at right now.
Right.
I've had radical transformations that are inexplicable to many, which is the cause of loneliness, for me. But all of these things that have happened, like the fact that I am this published author and these sold all these books and all these crazy things that have resulted from, me unintentionally writing a book is because when I was a kid, I was hurt really badly.
Mm.
And I didn't know how badly I was hurt until 2013. I'm 47 years old.
Right.
I discovered my documents from my adolescent treatment, and we found out that for 28 years I was being abused via a really large amount of psychotropic drugs
Mm.
for the purpose of keeping me from talking about some things that happened that were really bad
Mm.
when I was young. And of course, I fought to have things fixed. And by the time it was 2015, I was off all the pills and had all these diagnoses removed, but I was 41 years old. And that meant everyone who ever knew me knew somebody that I wasn't. So I share that with you right now. So it kind of put us kind of talk about later, because the reason why we're talking today is because I wrote these books as a result of what happened to me, because I knew nothing else. I knew nothing else.
Right.
All I knew how to do was write or create. And I needed to find a way to have a life. And so after a lifetime of being choked, in the mid 2000s, I found a way to get myself into school. And I became educated in working as a mental health worker who had lived experience, a mental health worker who had lived experience with addiction, trauma, mental health challenges, etc. And as part of my internship and as part of my learning how to become an effective worker, I created a peer support group called Better Days. This punk rock kid who was a completely different person than I am right now created this thing first because it was a requirement, and then by volunteering for years to work through my own stuff, right? But then to be able to help other people do the same. And then only years later did I publish these books. The first book I published, Better Days, on a whim, DIY style, without having any clue that I was going to sell 10,000 copies of a book like that. So that's how I became an author.
Congratulations, man.
That's pretty inspiring, because I'm working on doing the same. Like, I'm working on my first book and I don't know anything about writing, but I'm just going for it. I
Just do it. I mean, it's a gateway to freedom if you're a person who feels like you're in a box, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's awesome though. 10,000 copies right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, muscle minutes. Like I have like several books published, but we're at that point, and so I can say that. I can say that publicly and smile. So
that's a
more
say. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I mean,
So
it's in 10 languages. I can tell you that. It's in 10 languages as well. So that's what happened.
That's awesome. Especially like on a whim, you just decided to just write something. That's inspiring to me. Like, I think that's inspiring to everybody.
It's that on a whim, I decided to publish something I never planned on publishing, that I did because that's what I had to do to heal, and as part of my education. Yeah.
right.
For real.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So this beginning segment is like about how to like why I am how I am, why did I do what I did, what are these books about? And so before we started this interview, I let you guys know that I was in this challenging period of time in my life where I'm going through this transformative process where I'm recognizing there's things about my life that I don't like. There's things about myself that I don't like. There's things about how I live that I don't like. And I've made this decision. Well, I should say, I feel like this decision has been made without my, I guess, consent, because I feel like I realize I can't fight it. I feel like I can see that there's things that are miserable in my life. You know, here we are, we're talking about these successful books, and like these self-help books and doing cool punk rock shit. But the truth is, like, I'm also in this journey right now, and we're having this conversation while I'm going through this really intense stuff. And so, it's like it's a thing, like, to talk to people, and we're recording it and all this. Like, I'm aware, like, I'm intense, and it's good because I'm getting that shit out, and I'm going through the process, and I'm not gonna not be like exactly what I am.
Yeah.
So it's comfortable for me to be here with you guys like this, and I'm grateful that the reception is what it is.
Yeah, we try to make everybody comfortable coming out. We're not your average show. Like, we'll cover any topics. We'll let anybody talk about anything, because everybody has a story to tell.
So here we are,
Yep.
2022, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that that's the
Yep.
year that we're in. Back to the Future was 7 years ago.
Michael J. Fox is still alive, correct?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. And I have him up on my speaker. Couple
Marty
little
McFly.
action pictures. Can't really see him here.
Look, you guys have
I'll get a little
really
closer.
cool. You got really cool stuff behind you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
Nice work.
little measly display compared to Craig.
Oh
He's
man.
got- that's just a little section of his.
Yeah, I got
Well,
my whole wall down.
You have to know that when I arrived in Mexico, I didn't have anything.
Right.
I got the backpack, and so all the things I used to have, I don't have anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
there's stuff in a storage space, but I'm not going there.
Right.
All these things you see behind me and on all the walls over here as well are posters from like speaking events that I've given over the past several years when I had my life collapse. I had to get out, I had to live, I had to restart, and I felt like I was going to die and not make it. And I had no choice but to create a new life. And so when my life collapsed, I went on the road with nothing, and I did all these events, all of these 35 different countries. And then when I got here, I started printing out the posters and putting them on the walls. That's my art, my wallpaper.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome though. You're telling your story on your wall there. And a
Yeah,
little, you're just like not really the story itself, but like where you've been.
It's a bit of a museum to myself because my entire journey of how I got here is through devastating situations.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm 47 years old. I arrived here 3 years ago with a backpack.
Mhm.
I mean, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But
No,
everybody has to start over at some point.
I've shown up in a lot of places off a bus station with a backpack. I learned how to pack one up within like 15 minutes too, and just poof.
Just go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I've always wanted to
what
be able to do.
this is what happens.
Yep.
And this is what happens. And like the best part is that I'm smiling.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not hurt,
No, no, I totally understand that, dude.
Yeah.
Because I'm going through some shit myself.
Yeah, me
You
too.
can do some shit yourself, yeah.
We all are. Everybody.
Yeah, I've been working on it for 25 years, and now I'm in like a day program and everything, and I'm doing really good with it for once. Like, I'm really sticking with it.
Fucking A, dude. That's, oh my God, this is a thank you. I'm like a mental case who just, I thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. I live in a place where I don't properly speak the language, and I'm accepted because I'm cool. Like, I'm cool with the people, right? But I feel like I'm such a mental case sometimes. Like, do they think I'm a mental case? Like, what? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I love it. I'm good.
Oh, I get it.
I'm special. I'm special. Like, I'm special. And they know it. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I have a cousin who's a Spanish teacher, and she lived in Spain for about 3 years, I want to say, on the foreign exchange program, and she stood out like a sore thumb because she dyed her hair blonde.
Yeah.
It was obvious, like dyed blonde. And either way, there's no naturally blonde people in Spain.
Oh, yeah?
They all have jet black hair.
Oh,
So she was
I did not know that.
Well, the majority of the population anyway. Like there's people who dye their hair, but she was obviously American in the way she dressed and the way she carried herself.
We have a lot of tourists here, a lot of spiritual tourists and like hippie people. And like I like everybody, you know, but I'm different from some of them.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not like a lot of people from north of the border. I've had lots of challenges, incidences, but by and large, I'm doing pretty well considering. I arrived here with a freaking backpack and in a state of shock. So yeah, I guess 3 years on, things could be a whole lot worse, and thank goodness I've chosen to make them better.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man.
Life's crazy. This is crazy times.
It's kind of like you were put there for a purpose.
Yeah,
most definitely.
But we do.
See,
we do have one question that we normally bring up.
Yeah,
and we like hearing everybody's story on how they found punk rock.
Yeah. Like, yeah,
it always gets interesting. See, it always gets interesting.
You got to think about it, right?
Oh no.
No.
I know exactly the story.
Okay.
Maybe when I was 10 years old.
Mm.
I guess that would be 1983, 1984, and the cable television was first starting to come out, right?
Mm.
And there was this cable TV station called WTBS, and on WTBS they had this show on like Saturday nights, if I recall, called Night Flight, and like I was a kid, so if you're a kid and you're watching TV late at night, right?
Yeah.
At your house because you're a kid, and you find that sometimes you might find that right. Interesting. So I watched that Another State of Mind many times before I really understood what it was. And that was like an introduction that I didn't even know that I had till a while later, when I was put into a psychiatric hospital in 1988 for illicit reasons. Lasted with me until 2015.
Yeah.
And in the hospital, woman, she let me borrow some cassettes on my Walkman, huge Walkman, of Black Flag and Dead Kennedys and other bands.
Yeah.
That was the in-person induction, approximately April 13th, 1988, which is the same day my life was taken from me. It was the thing that all because the very day my life was for me, it was the very day I was introduced to punk rock in person.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that just says it was there with you for your whole journey to where you are now.
Absolutely. I know who I am. I know why I'm alive. I know why I survived. And I'm at the point where I'm not concerned about if I die. I feel very fucked up about the world. And so I need to be different and better to be able to truly be, and I have to transcend the things that bother me to such a degree that they are. So in order to have what I want, now's the time. That's it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's interesting you say that because that's exactly the journey I'm on.
Yep.
Like
exactly the journey I'm on.
Yeah, but and like we all started at some point, and it was pretty much 3 years ago for me. Like, I had to find myself again.
Yeah.
And it's been like a never-ending cycle for me. And here I am again, but this is going to be the last time.
Yeah. I've been taking it seriously since like 2015. I really kind of tried to put a push on it, but I think the last year is when I really like focused on my own mental health and making myself better, because it's been so long.
I'm gonna say that it's been about a week. A week for me. So yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's ups and downs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's all it is.
Oh yeah.
I sometimes get concerned I'm really crazy. But then I ask people, I say like, am I really crazy, or am I just like reacting to some things, and like this, like, should I just shut the fuck up and like relax, and then tomorrow I'll be better? Like,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone to
I'm
bed
right there
angry, and like, you know what? Fuck what people say. Going to bed angry, you do wake up feeling better half the time, because you've like slept everything off and you're here for another.
It depends if you're able to vent at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't vent, then like sometimes, and venting doesn't necessarily mean like talking it out with somebody, but you
Now I
like,
get a punching bag.
just go outside and scream into the void. You know what I mean?
It's like 2
I've done
a.m. You
that
hear
so many
somebody.
times.
I am.
Yep.
I'm really lonely, and I really resonate with the phrase, don't go to bed angry, because I had to learn, I guess, the hard way, different ways how to be. It's really important that if you can, that you make peace with those you love.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing you have to do if you love them. You do that.
I learned that recently too. I really did.
Yeah. You never promise tomorrow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
But why don't we take a quick break?
Cool.
And when we come back, we will get into your books.
All right. Respect.
All right.
Fruity Pebbles, oh what I wouldn't do to get them from you know who. Join the band, mate. Me? Yeah, you got the sound we need. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it in your soul. Take it, take it, take it. Shake it in your bowl. Fruity-licious. My Fruity Pebbles are gone. How fruitituitous. Barney. Uh-oh, the gig is up. Post Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal. Part of this nutritious breakfast. Yappa-dabba delicious.
Charms Blow Pop, take 1, action. Fruit flavored candy on the outside. Say it. Bubblegum on the inside. Fabulous. That's a Blow Pop. That's a Blow Pop.
Fruit charm.
Now flavors. Cherry. Grape. Strawberry. Sour apple. Watermelon. Ta-da! That's a Blow Pop. Say from Charms. What? Cut.
And we're back. All right. So, Craig, we're going to talk about your books. What's your first book that we're going to talk about
here? This book is called You're Crazy, Volume 2.
Okay.
First-hand accounts of surviving trauma, addiction, and mental health from within the punk scene.
Right.
And this is volume 2, so it's an anthology of 20 writers from around the world, including myself, doing the introduction. And of course, volume 1 exists as well with 27 authors, and volume 3 will be in the future, sooner, I believe, than later. And this is a new book, and I'm going to read the introduction to you, because that's what this segment is about. About what this book is about and why and how it became. And well, here we go.
Go for it.
The cover, see?
That's badass.
Awesome.
I love that art.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm gonna have to give you the contact information for the artist Frank, because we always want him to he benefited from his contribution to this book. He's also one of the writers, and so his artwork is fantastic, and we'll make sure later that the people watching this can have his information if they want to hire him for freelance work, because he's phenomenal. He deserves it. He's an awesome person.
Absolutely. We'll promote anybody.
Yep.
This is his art on the introduction page.
That is so cool.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Frank. All right. Okay. Sometime around 2010, I began to realize that I had had an extreme life experience. I believe that if others in my life had been aware of it, there was a good chance they would have treated me differently. I was given the nickname Krusty Craig in the mid-90s. I protested it. I felt like I was being called dirty, not because I didn't care about myself, but because I was gravely ill. I'll handle that bullshit in a few paragraphs from now. It's crazy the shit people think. It was crazy the shit I thought and still think, depending on many different reasons. Fucking A. I was called Krusty Craig because I was an ultra crust punk. The punk rock scene is quite funny sometimes. I remember the first time I heard some jackass, whom I did not know, utter the words, "I heard Krusty Craig did this," insert crazy story here. I believe it is people like that dude who might really benefit from reading a book like this, especially considering that so many people I once knew, whether we were cool or not, are dead or worse. The first time I found out that people were calling me Crazy Craig was in New York City, after giving the second ever punk rock mental illness and recovery talk. The first gig was in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and fittingly so, as that is where I truly became a punk rocker. During the question and answer session, one of my most cherished punk rock friends and New York City punk rock legend referred to me as Crazy Craig. I can remember how it felt. Heartbreakingly, he was correct. I was Crazy Craig. I didn't want to be Crazy Craig. What the fuck? I couldn't allow this. I would rather have died than allow this. As the story goes, I had to fight for my freedom, liberty, and truth. And ultimately, I was victorious. That is when the consequences of choosing to be free, healthy, and well reared its ugly face. On May 1st, 2015, I swallowed my last psychiatric pill. I have not taken a single pill since. My doctors at Boston Medical Center had been insisting for over 2 years that my only chance at living a healthy life was to stop taking psychiatric medication. They even removed all of the diagnoses from my file. Does reading all of this make your head hurt? It does mine. It's fucked up. It's wicked fucked up. In 2013, I obtained my adolescent mental health records from the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health. It was there that I worked as a vetted statewide staff trainer, as well as a handpicked pioneer, paid via a private fund to develop and facilitate a novel program in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I spent 2 years doing this. In those records, document after document, often written in the doctor's or clinician's own handwriting, I found the confirming evidence that I was being abused by my parents and that my behavior was a natural reaction to being abused. One specific document, as written by a clinician in their own handwriting, detailed my mother's threat to the psychiatrist if he did not diagnose me with schizophrenia. My family would file a lawsuit against him. As a result, and as the collection of documents proves, I was given a fraudulent diagnosis of schizophrenia. For the next 28 years, I swallowed approximately 80,000 pills to treat a condition I did not have, as well as for symptoms I never exhibited. I did not want to be Crazy Craig anymore. Over the next few years, beginning in 2015, I rejected the Crazy Craig of the past, and I became the Crazy Craig of the present. It is hard enough to live in the world, especially after 28 years of heavy drugging and me telling everyone that I was mentally ill. I was proud of living successfully with a mental illness. I was proud of working successfully with a mental illness. I announced it to the world via my punk rock mental illness and recovery talks, except I was not mentally ill. Just thinking about this makes me feel crazy. Get it? Do you fucking get it? People had a much easier time accepting me and including me when, at the end of the day, no matter what happened, the explanation to everything was that Craig was crazy. I mean, he told everybody, it's cool that he's working on it. We respect him for that. For those unaware, beginning in 2017, I was trained to work as a certified peer specialist, which is essentially a mental health care worker who is open about their lived experience with mental health challenges, addiction, and trauma. I was employed by several Boston-based mental health agencies. The first was CASCAP, then Vinten, and after that I spent an excellent 5 years at Baycove. Unfortunately, my professional career ended only a mere few months after being hired by a place with a name that does not deserve to be associated. 2015, after 28 years of daily medication, I stopped taking psychiatric drugs. At the same time, in my new job, I was paired to facilitate support groups with a man I found creepy and disturbing in a way that unnerved me. This man, my coworker, enjoyed manipulating female patients and support group members into disclosing the details of how they were raped for his pleasure. I'm the publisher of this book, and I'm using this opportunity that I have created for myself to tell this story in this safe place. That same year, I made reports of what I witnessed. First, I went to the company I was working for, then to the advocates and community leaders throughout the state. I then contacted Massachusetts government and mental health officials and hundreds of people in advocacy positions throughout the United States, all the way to the United States Department of Health and Human Services. I did everything I could to let them know that there was a man in Massachusetts preying on rape survivors by using his role as a mental health care worker. In an act of true punk rock activism, I audio recorded a government official listening to my story. After only a few questions, he told me that I was, quote, whistleblower, unquote. And I needed to file a lawsuit against several people and organizations in Massachusetts. If you've heard me speak at a workshop or a talk anywhere in the world, you know I write how I speak. I'm not conventional, and I ain't gonna change. I'm not responsible for having swallowed 80,000 psychiatric pills beginning at the age of 14. I was just an innocent kid. The doctor said I was sick. Unfortunately, I escaped the abuse. It is a gift that I'm responsible for healing from the severe damage they inflict upon me. What I'm also not responsible for is the failure of the hundreds of colleagues, advocates, state and government officials of whom I begged for help continuously for years. Was I betrayed? Yes. Did I do the right thing? Yes. If the opportunity presents itself, will I proudly speak this truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, while dressed in the sharpest and fiercest suit possible? You better believe it, because I do. Fortunately, I escaped the abuse. And yes, it's a gift that I'm responsible for healing from the severe damage inflicted upon me. There was no typographic error. Indeed, my words are repeated. I now live in Mexico. I spent 15 months crisscrossing Europe and beyond with little more than a tote bag. I told this crazy story, the same one written here, in 40 countries. I was homeless, and I did do some very unpleasant things to survive. I always knew that one day I would transcend every fucking thing, as I prefer to live life with that creed as my foundation. And I'm just going to fast forward to the end. If you feel so inclined, please consider contributing your to Your Crazy Volume 3. Massive respect and love to all the contributors, and gratitude beyond words for those who made this a reality. Love and Rockets, Krusty Craig, March 23rd, 2021, Mexico.
Damn,
That's awesome.
dude. Fuck. Fuck. That's one hell of a story.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The dentist.
Congratulations.
That is.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. If somebody, just to everybody out there,
Yeah.
if somebody is trying to hurt you, if someone's trying to gaslight you, say you're crazy, whatever they're doing, abuse you, manipulate you, do whatever, they're doing it for a reason. It's because they're hurt themselves. With that said, the damage is can be so. I admit that I am living with that. I'm trying very hard every single day, every hour, every minute to be the best I can be. I made a joke earlier that I said I'm a mental case. Like, for basically simple reasons. I act crazy for basic reasons. And those reasons include I have an unaddressed health issue that I need a medical care for. I'm afraid that I'm not going to have enough food. I'm scared that about my security, or if somebody has done something cruel to me that it's not an accident. I have dealt with a lot of not nice people. My story kind of gives the context as to why some people aren't very happy with me, and so I'm going to act crazy, and it sucks because I act that way for a reason. I act that way because something that most people don't know is happening, and something that people don't really want to believe. And so it puts me in this funny position where I just kind of freak out. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to know that if that happens to you, then they can call you crazy, but it probably means you're much smarter than everyone else. And the only way that they can really hurt you is by like picking away at your truth. And the world's really fucked up in that way, and always has been, especially now too. So just know that they can say whatever they want to you. They can do whatever they want to you, and they can hurt you really bad. But deep down, if you know who you are, what you are, you can do anything, become anything. I learned that from Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. So if you're not familiar with the book by Viktor Frankl, Viktor, last name Frankl, Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Read that book because it'll teach you how I learned to be okay somehow. And you can do the same thing for yourself. You can probably find it in a thrift store for 50 cents in a soft cover, for real.
And that's called Man's Social Meaning.
Man's search, man's search for meaning.
For meaning. Okay.
Viktor Frankl, Viktor, Frankl. Oh, dude, this shit,
Writing that down.
amigos, this shit will change your life. Oh, I'm serious.
I need it.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. I'm gonna be looking at it.
I need to get a copy of it in English. It's hard. I have crates of books back. You know what? You know what happens when people buy? You know what happens when people order these books from me? You know what happens? And the other books that I have as well, and when people order like cool stuff from my website, t-shirts especially, and other things that like are more, I guess more expensive. I don't know how to say it. Like I earn money, right? And the money I created this e-commerce platform to like help myself and I'm like having success with it. So like I have this whole crate of books. Like I have crates of books, like with Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Mm.
Probably have 2 copies, a backup copy too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And everything I used to own is in a storage space back in the United States. And
Yeah.
my point is like the reality is that every time like people order like books from me, I'm serious, like through my website, that I'm that much closer to getting all my stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm not really like, I mean, there are lots of white people. That's not the right way to say it. There's lots of North American people here. I guess no, that's not the right way to say it either. These are people from the United States here.
Right.
Mexico is North America. Like,
Yeah.
they're not this different.
Yeah.
It's all very
True.
complicated discussions. But like, there are lots of people from the United States, like, let's put it that way, who work here and like have jobs in restaurants, and they do all sorts of things. But you know, I don't know how to say this without like just like laughing at myself. But like, come on, like I'm okay, like right now, but I'm like barely like, yeah. I mean, come on, I'm gonna work in a restaurant. Like I can't hardly even like say things in Spanish properly. Like I can't even like sit by myself properly. Like I need to be alone. But, like I want to believe me, like that shit, that ship has passed. Like that getting the job thing. I can't do shit like that. It's crazy.
I get it. That's kind of my goal here. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
I don't want to work for anybody else, I should say.
Yeah.
So I sell books and t-shirts and all these things, but I want my stuff.
Right.
I want my
Your
stuff.
life.
You know?
Yeah.
My stuff is 5 years away, 5 years or 4 years away from me. My books.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get it.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say about that. That's what this is like. Telling your story like that is for liberation. That's freedom. And even if the person like telling the story like is crazy, well, is this crazy?
Yeah, right.
It's like a 142 page professional looking book with like
Yeah.
a good editing job and great cover, and authors from around the world telling similar stories of surviving and recovering and building a better life. That's crazy, and that's something wrong with the world, and that means we're doing something fucking great. And respect to all the authors, past, present, and future, and all people who decide to make the world a better place by making themselves better, because that's what happens when you make yourself better. You make others better as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're trying to do here. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what our conversations are about. We could be laughing the entire time. We could be fucking having a really deep conversation like we're having today. You know what I mean? But as long as we feel better at the end of it in some way, like whether it's getting a message out there or just having a great time in the midst of our own personal craziness, then we've done our job here. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
You
why
guys are doing a really good job. I just have one thing to say. Your shirt, James, I'm familiar with both the band and the movie, of course.
This is the movie.
Yeah.
And so I just keep hearing the words, like yelling, although it's like not that I'm actually hearing it, but I know that's what I'm thinking about. Hey, you guys, you're here. The power of suggestion, right?
Yeah.
Power of suggestion.
Subliminal message.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
Hey.
One of
All
my
right.
favorite movies, man.
So, what do you guys think about this whole thing?
Dude, that's
That's amazing.
yeah. If I wasn't strapped for cash, I would have bought like all your stuff that you have out right now. But
Right to me, we're gonna get it figured out.
Oh, right on.
Hey, can I read to you some of the titles of the other writers' stories?
Yeah, absolutely.
Written by our Swedish friend from Milan to Minsk, Belarus, you know. Written by our friend from Tennessee. I will be grateful for this day. Written by our friend from Minnesota, I believe, Walking Through Life and Death with Art. From our friend in the UK, he called this story Eddie. From our friend in Spain, she said, from mental to physical suffering. Our friend in, well, I met her in Milan, Italy, and then I visited her in Liège, Belgium, but she's from France. So her story is called Untitled, and I'll show you in a minute. She did the cover of the book we're going to talk about in the next segment. From, I can say this one, from a band, a woman from a band called the Loose Guitars from New York, Just Another Day. From Massachusetts, The Hard Times of Johnny Napalm. From DC, I believe, Adventures of a Life Well Lived. From Vermont, Imperfect. From, I believe, California, I don't know the abbreviation. From California, again, Beating My Battle with Depression, because she's a drummer. She drums, right? Massachusetts, My Own Hero. I know her in person. I've known her for a long time. From the Bay Area, My Bipolar Summer Playlist. From Arizona, My Stifled Creativity in a Psychiatric Hospital. From New York State, Punk Drunk Love, and that's the person who did this book cover as well.
Oh, awesome.
From the UK, but living in Spain, A Double-Edged Sword, from somebody who, I'm not sure where they are, Untitled. Second to last, from Brazil, Inspirations and Circumstances That Led Me to Become a Zinester. And last in this edition, from the United States, but living in Vietnam, Contemplation and Reflection of the Life of a Struggling Punk Rock Expat. So there was one other story that in the editing process didn't make it in. It's crazy because I sent the writer a copy. I can't imagine his upset when he got the copy in the mail and he looked at it and he couldn't find it. He let me have it because I deserved it. I didn't know it was a mistake. But he's from Macedonia, and his story will be in the upcoming edition, volume 3. Respect. Goodness,
yeah.
I can't believe it.
At least he called you out, man.
Well, I mean,
Hey, buddy.
Why
I mean,
you?
I mean, come on. I sent him the book in the mail. I mean, like,
Right.
that's, I mean, it was innocent. I didn't,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
obviously. It just crazy though, right? Can you imagine? I was like,
Yeah,
he's like, what the
it's
fuck?
one of
I was
those-
like, what the fuck is right? I can't, oh my God.
Oh my God, dude, I'm so sorry.
Seriously, like, what the fuck times 100?
Right?
I sent him the fucking book. Like, that's the worst part. The worst part. And he got it. It's like, what the fuck? I was, oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. I can imagine like both ends of that conversation being just like,
Oh no, it was bad because like I went crazy too. I was like, because he was so angry at me for good reason, right? Anyway,
Right.
respect. Like,
yeah,
it's funny.
his story's still
Because
getting
it's
told
not
though.
funny at all.
His story's still gonna get
It's
told.
all gonna be great
Yeah.
because it's gonna be volume 3. So it's happening. Yeah. Cheers to all of us all. Cheers to us all.
Yeah.
Cheers. There's a hard cider here.
You want me to read the back cover?
Certainly, go for it.
Sure.
Is that backwards? Yeah, it's all backwards.
To you, we can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of.
It was blurry, but oh, there we go.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yep, now I can see it.
I'm not. Well, I guess I thought you were somehow going to read it, but I'll read it. This
Yeah,
isn't.
we'll put this on Spotify too. So.
Yeah.
This isn't. You can't just read it. You can't just see it. It's like
Some people can. Some people watch
Something,
it.
something.
Words
something.
on a
Words.
Your Crazy Volume 2 is a collection of personal stories written by 20 punk rockers from around the world. All of the writers have experienced trauma, addiction, and mental health struggles. As you read these stories, you will know both the pain and the beauty that makes these uniquely brilliant human beings who they are today. We are unapologetic for surviving. Instead, we choose to live the lives we deserve. We hope that others like us will read these stories and recognize that they, too, have the power to create the better lives we want. After all, we are punk rockers. After all.
After all.
After all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sums it up pretty
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
The
Yeah,
den
that's-
is speechless. I think you've left us
Yeah,
speechless a couple times already now.
You really have, dude. That's
Awesome.
like, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Hey, you know what? You know what we do if you guys were here at the conclusion of this discussion? We go get tacos.
Oh yeah. If we were there, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm down for
Yeah.
tacos. Taco Tuesday, man. Shit.
Yeah.
It's Taco Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, but like every day is taco
I'm
day.
down for. I'll eat tacos every day. I'm always.
You walk
Where I
in
live-
somewhere, can I get a pizza? No.
No, I live in a little special little place that doesn't have a lot of things like a bigger town. We're isolated, but we have pizza here. We have more like fancy pizza, and then we have like more like less fancy pizza, but we don't have chains like we have back like in other cities in Mexico. No, it's like
Yeah, we
all
don't.
local places. Yeah.
I don't like change.
We have chains here. I think I've only been to Pizza Hut like twice in my life, though. To be honest, I know we.
Yeah.
I've been there a
Pizza-
lot, but like I prefer a good mom and pop joint.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here
That's any food. That's not just pizza. That's just any food. I like
Yeah.
a good like down home restaurant.
Yeah.
in the center of this town is a marketplace, like a covered mercado marketplace, with about 30 different restaurants and like little fruit stands and juices and things like this. And all the restaurants usually only have like a couple like benches or three. And every single day you can get some crazy thing to eat. And like what we think in the United States of what Mexican food is like not like what reality is.
Yeah.
You know?
The food here is remarkable and endless. And everywhere you go in Mexico, like the same thing was gonna be different. Like it's like even where I live, like the next municipality that over, like if you go to the mercado there, the big central mercado, the culture is different. Like I go to this mercado town near here, a town called Wastepec. And in Wastepec, whenever they see anybody who's well, just say anybody, but especially if it looks like me, because not that many people like me go to the mercado in Wastepec. I go to the mercado in Wastepec because I like to go there because I'm me. But
Yeah,
then
right.
you start hearing the people, they'll start yelling, like, and it gets very, very loud because everyone wants you to sample their meat. I'm serious. And then you
Hey,
have to
buddy.
wonder, like, well, if I eat your meat, then what happens? Do I then have to buy it? Because what's the rule here? Like, how does this work? Everyone's trying to give yourself, what do I do? And then if I accept it, am I obligated? So as a person who's lived here long enough, I just don't react. I just walk slow, like I belong, and people just say, "Oh, he's not a lost tourist."
A little
Right.
predator radar goes off.
Yeah, yeah.
Friendly.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a similar situation. Like I mentioned earlier that I live in Amish country, which I do, but
Hey.
I live a couple hours away from like Amish country.
Yeah.
So like we still have access to similar places to like what you're talking about, like the marketplaces that have like the 30 restaurants, with a few benches and stuff, but it's nothing like what you're talking about.
It's just
It's
different.
similar. It's similar, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
Most
But
people
then you
in
got
the
the
United
Amish
States,
markets, and it's the same. It's kind of a similar situation if you go to a strictly Amish market, because then it's all handmade. You know for sure it's all homemade Amish food. And like that's the only place you can get it. And it's like so many different little stands. Everybody has their own little thing going on.
what is exactly, because I don't know
Amish
what
food?
is homemade. What is Amish food? What is that? What is it?
Stuff like ham pot pie. Like it's a thing we talk about. Like I'll only talk about this one because you're already looking at me like ham pot pie. I'm telling you this right now, it's not pie. All right, actually like a. Are you familiar with chicken and dumplings? Like
I
from
think
the South,
so.
like say, like the dumpling noodles. They're like squares.
Yeah. Yeah, like little chicken dumplings, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like you go to Cracker Barrel and you order chicken and dumplings, you're gonna get. But ham pot pie is similar to that, but it's more of a soupy consistency. So not as thick broth. You know what I mean? It's pretty thin broth, but you make dumpling noodles, cut up a ham, throw chunks of ham, cut up some potatoes, cut up some onions, boil these noodles in the ham broth while all this other stuff is boiling, and it's just delicious. It's very easy to make. I'll gladly send you the recipe.
Please.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure how it would go down back in Pennsylvania, but you might have a future and coming to Mexico and like starting up an Amish restaurant, which is just fucking weird.
All I'd have to do is shave the mustache, and I could pass for it. So.
But yeah, well, this is the fucked up place, right? I love this place. Not a country, it's a place. It's different than that. But it's a land of opportunity, even though it's also a land of tragedy. It's the tragedy, the endless tragedy, because there's endless tragedy here. Endless.
Right.
It's just everyone's affected by things. It's that endless tragedy that
Mexico's got a lot going on.
Yeah,
and they have for a long time.
Yeah.
Everyone here has been hurt in some way.
Yeah.
It's that endless tragedy
big
that
time
results in the resiliency and like the excitement, the love and the empowerment in defiance of it all. And it's different than how it is back north of the border. It's different.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't been to Mexico in over 30 years, but just reading stuff about what's going on in that country, like it's completely mind-blowing how different it really is down there compared to here. And it's literally just like you cross a line and you're in a different country. Like that line's far away from us.
Yeah.
But it's really not that far. You could drive it in a day, and if you don't stop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are not good that you hear about, but there's also things that are great too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But just like here, you never really hear about the great stuff. You always hear
the negative that you hear.
Yep.
It serves the American dominant United States culture to promote a weak image or a problematic image of Mexico. But Mexico didn't receive the same kind of investment that Canada and United States did from all that money coming from European, like English, French.
Yeah.
This country was its own empires, own set of empires that were attacked and like forced, and then left to like pick up all the broken pieces that then were combined.
Yeah,
that's very different root of a land.
Yeah.
And of a people that existed for thousands and thousands of years before the Spaniards came. So the wound that has been inflicted here is something that everyone deals with, and it's perpetual, and it's in part of the reason why things are the way they are.
Yeah,
but things are also great. It's just you have to learn how to.
You got to know where to find that.
Yeah.
Well, you find it from within.
Yeah.
Right. Mexico teaches you to find it from within.
Yeah.
You come here and you stay, you deal with all the whatever shit you have to deal with, which is a lot probably in different ways.
Yep.
It forces you to find it from within.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about it in our group chat, and it's our history nerd Matt. He can't join us. We have another co-host. He can't join us right now.
Ah.
because
Yeah, he would
he's
have loved
finishing
this
up.
one though.
Yep, he's finishing up school. So
Hey,
congratulations.
proud of him.
He's about to graduate. So
Yep.
we're really proud of the mage. But he's our history buff. I'm a history buff as well. And we were talking about it in our group chat, just how mind-blowing it is that the Aztec Empire ended not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yo,
Like,
I'm gonna look up
in relation to how old the Earth is and how old humanity is.
Yeah.
Like, it really was not that long ago. Like,
when I go onto my terrace, I can see a 500+ year old Aztec pyramid at the top of the mountain, and
That's awesome.
we climb that mountain. Access to the pyramid has been closed because of the pandemic, but we've all been up there, and you can see it and get close to it. And there's a pyramid at the top of this mountain. And when I go up, it's dark out right now, but on a good day, if I get a good camera, I can show you a really good photo. It's right there.
absolutely.
It's like, yeah.
Love that,
Yeah, that's awesome.
dude.
So the Aztec language is Nahuatl.
Yeah.
I can say a whole bunch of words 'cause I've been taught. Can I tell you one thing in the native Aztec language before
Absolutely.
we stop and then start up again for the third part? Okay. So the way to say tortillas are hot in Espanol, it's las tortillas es caliente. And in the native Aztec language, it's in Tlacali, kach tatonki. In Tlacali, kach tatonki. Yeah, that's
Man.
the native language I've been learning a little bit.
What a difference.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
I could say about 20 different words. And these words were volunteered to me by elders who just started to stop me and teach me.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? That's very special.
That's
So
badass.
Yeah.
I figured that they were going to do that. I better learn.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
All right.
Yeah.
powerful stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and take another quick break, and then we'll get
Yep.
into your other book.
All right.
All right.
If you want to win the game, you gotta take good aim and get the most marbles with your hippo. Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
Hungry, Hungry Hippos is the name of the game, and whoever hippo gets the most marbles wins.
Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
I win!
Hungry, Hungry Hippos from Hasbro.
Light bright, turn on the magic of colored lights. Light bright, make a face to glow at night. Smiling friends, shining bright, make a sign to say goodnight.
Just pop in the colored pegs and follow the patterns. It's easy to make your favorite pictures and characters, or you can always create your own light pictures.
Light bright, turn on the magic of shining light.
Light Bright from Milton Bradley.
All right, so Craig, you got another book that you wrote. What's that one called?
It's called The Craig Lewis Guide to Surviving the Impossible. And I named it this because it's how I survived the impossible. And that's my name. I don't like my name. My name in Mexico is Gregorio. I don't know how I got the name Craig Lewis. I'm from a Jewish Eastern European family. I have this name, and I don't like it. So here,
Yeah.
my name is Gregorio. But for the purposes of this, that's my name because I want the people in my world, or those who were in my world, when they start sniffing around like they do, to know that I survived. And this, as cocky and perhaps stupid as maybe it was, it's not. It's actually the opposite, because I speak with confidence. I may have lost a few screws as a result of everything that's happened, but I speak with confidence.
Mm.
And that right there is power.
Yeah.
So I want it to be very easy for everyone to know that I'm a very nice person. Please be kind to me. Like, my history is rough. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
If you need to fuck with me, just know that like I do shit like this,
Right.
which would be crazy for most other people. And
Mm.
it's crazy for me too, but I think I know the difference.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good one. So check it out. The Craig Lewis Guide to Surviving the Impossible is a workbook with 15 passages and 15 worksheets developed or written during my past few years of, like, I don't like to say I lost everything because here I am, I'm alive, right? But losing everything. We United States people, we speak in absolutes. Never, always, like nothing, everything. No, you don't. That's not really accurate. We just talk like that. So when you leave the United States and you start saying never and always, I lost everything. You mean everything? Because some people culturally like, you lost everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you have to be clear. So when I say I lost everything, well, I have myself. So this book, right, is how I learned to somehow be okay when I lost everything. I thought I lost myself. Sometimes I still think I did. And the passages are written from that journey. And the worksheets are questions that are things that need to be answered about like our journeys. And the book is written in such a way that the reader like might feel like inwardly compelled because their heart has been opened up by reading something or hearing something, that it allows for some sort of transformational change to happen within, like by looking at yourself and asking yourself, like, what is it about what's causing me to be unhappy that I can change? Like, what is it? Well, if you're not asking the questions, if you're not warmed up in such a way to be able to answer those questions, or to consider them with an answer that might be helpful to you, that's not just like bullshitting, right? It's like, oh shit, I have to look at myself in the mirror and but when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh shit, that's when the change happens. It's not what you do with that, it's that you've chosen to make things better. And this book is all about helping people figure out, recognize, and target the very things within them that get them in trouble, and then like forcing them to see it, and then figuring out, oh shit, this shit might be happening to me because I'm a human being and I'm sensitive or whatever the reason is, but I can still find better ways to deal with it. And once I do that, once I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, I can do anything. And this book is written for that purpose, to help those people do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's also some poems and some other beautiful things in here that I'm very proud of and happy about. All right, and that brings me to the next topic. This passage is called "Happiness is an Illusion, or Is It?" This is drawn by our friend from France, who I met in Milan and hung out with in Belgium. This is how it looks, right? So I don't know if you can see, but passage and the 3 questions, right?
Yeah.
Check it out. Happiness is an illusion, or is it? When you say that you're happy, what does that mean? Are you happy because the emotion you're having is what others have told you is what happy is? Are you happy because the dictionary definition of happy defines your emotions right now? How about now? And how about now? What people who are open about their struggle often do not recognize is that the people who appear to be quite happy are also struggling with something. Am I struggling right now? Yes, and I'm also happy. Sometimes I get hurt, and I know this, and therefore I have dedicated myself to healing. If someone told you that you cannot both struggle and experience happiness at the same time, they are not properly informed. If you really want to be happy, you must understand that happiness is an illusion if you believe it to be. And happiness is real if you believe it to be. And happiness is question mark.
Man.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah, every 5 minutes, it's like my mind is blown.
Yeah, you're shutting us up. That never happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
The gears are
that's
turning.
that's a good thing.
Well, I take it as an acknowledgement that
Absolutely.
I don't believe in compliments. I think compliments are fucking bullshit. I don't like any sort of like doing something nice for another, or like making someone feel nice by what you say. If you're saying it for any reason other than because it's true and it matters, but with nothing attached to it. So I appreciate those acknowledgments coming straight from your heart.
Yeah.
Your words, because they come to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything like other than like what you've told me to check out. I don't have anything written down prepared for this. Like,
No. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about what you do, like in our group chat and everything like that. And I was like, well, I wish I could afford to buy these books right now, because I would love to read them before we talk to them. But it's going to be nice to hear straight from who wrote them and who gathered the stories for your other books. Like,
and like after
he's doing,
after speaking with you, this, like,
I'm not much of a reader. Like, I'm just gonna, and I want to read this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
we're gonna put these books into your guys' hands one way or another. And if anybody watching this wants to send one of these books to another person out there in the world, that whether they know them or not, you can contact me and say, hey, Craig, I saw your interview with James and Craig, and I would like to have you send one of your books to somebody out there in the world who contacts me who is interested but doesn't have the money. And I think it's really extra special that the three of us are having this conversation and we're doing this awesome stuff. We're all in our healing journey. We're all being open about it. We're all talking about it.
Yeah.
We're acknowledging it. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
We're all struggling too with all these things. So if there are people out there who resonate with what's being discussed by these three unique individuals having this mutual conversation, I've never spoken with either of you before.
Nope.
And then maybe you want to send one of these books to somebody who's like us or like you, and whether we know who they are or not, let's make it happen. Let's do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love
that for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's people out there who care.
Yep.
And that's really what we want to do.
And there's people out there who need it.
Yeah. And we want to show those people that we do give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Somebody who cares.
Yep.
So I think it'd be cool if I ask you both one of these questions, and we can just have a little talk, because there's three questions here. It's like is the passage right? Happiness is an illusion, or is it passage where we read, and then the worksheet, which are the three questions. And the whole book is, the 15 passages and worksheets, and then 4 poems and some other beautiful pieces of writing that were contributed. So it's a very short book. It's only like 50 pages, something like this.
Yeah.
All right. So this is one of the questions, and I keep in mind that this original format was I created when I first was writing many years ago. And you asked me at the beginning how I became a writer. Well, I was doing those support groups. So this is in the same format of those support groups in the books that the Better Days workbook, that a mental health recovery workbook that I published as part of after I was doing my internships and volunteering and working in mental health care. So this is the same format. It's just radical for healing.
Yeah.
It's like for changing your insides for the better.
Yeah.
All right. So we already had that. I read the passage and we had a little reflection on that. So here's one of the questions I'll ask you. So Craig, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
A simple and difficult question to begin with. Simply, are you happy?
Somewhat, to be honest.
Well,
Somewhat.
honesty is great because there's no wrong answer. There's just the answer.
Yeah. Somewhat. I'm working on it.
I think that's a lot more uplifting than a lot of people would be able to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question.
Yeah.
James, a simple and difficult question to begin with you as well. Simply, are you happy?
I'd have to give the same answer. Somewhat, like certain aspects of my life, absolutely, I am over the moon. Like I've never been happier. And then there's just, everyday life stuff that just keeps me down. But I'm figuring that out. You know what I mean? I'm doing my damnedest to figure that out and get that taken care of, so I can be truly comfortable and happy with who I am as a person and move on with this next step in my life.
Yeah.
And it's the additional identification of the word comfortable, because happiness and being comfortable with who you are, like those are two peas in the same pod.
Yeah.
So
it took me a long time. It took me a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
But I figured.
I mean, thank goodness it took you a long time and not an even longer time. Like that's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I could say the same about myself. It took a long time, but I'm glad it didn't take a longer time to like start working on myself.
Yeah, I'm glad I figured it out now before I wasn't. Before figuring it out didn't do me any good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I live with my concern that I'm going to drop dead, because I think sometimes I'm just going to collapse just because I'm working hard sometimes. So I'm trying to be as happy as possible, as much as possible, by choosing to cope and to be okay and to transcend and to forgive myself. But I truly want to get to the place I want it to happen. Like I want it to happen where the things that from my past that have tormented me no longer bother me. I'm attempting to make that happen. Attempting.
Yeah.
It's very ugly, but I have to do it. It helps that it's actually what's bothering me. Like one of the things that's bothering me right now. So I'll ask myself, am I happy? I'm happier than I have been. I feel like I'm in a energetically forward moving place. I'm very aware of my vulnerabilities and my like how I self-sabotage certain things. But I also know that because of certain ways of how my brain thinks and how I'm affected by things, that I'm gonna react in certain ways because I'm a human being who was really hurt. And so I have to just deal with it. And I'm not going to be like every other person who is in recovery from these things, because I'm unique like we all are. And I just need to deal with it and forgive myself and accept that I'm not perfect, and that I can just be okay and just move on with my day and actually put it to rest. And I have that power to just do that because I have to.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
I get that for sure.
Yeah, we both do.
Yep. You just got to get up and do it. That's no other choice.
Get up and do it.
As we say in Central Pennsylvania, there's nothing to it but to do it.
There's nothing to it but to do it.
Just get up, stretch out, go do the thing. Kick the day in the ass.
Someday, I want to come to Amish country and go eat Amish food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I will gladly give you a tour of Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Do they? I don't want to speak disrespectfully, especially I'm just ignorant, naive. But pardon me. Do they know those names of the towns are funny?
I'm sure the younger generations do,
Yeah.
because there's a Amish, would it be a tradition? I would say Rumspringa.
Oh yeah.
See,
Definitely a
Like,
tradition.
it's where, like, at a formative time in an Amish person's life, like teenage years, like around the
I think
age of
like
16,
16 they do it, I think.
17, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it is. It's up to them, I think.
Yeah.
But it's called Rumspringa, and it's like a rite of passage. Like, you go out, you leave the community for like however long, and you experience the outside world and worldly possessions and everything. And it's up to you if you want to come back to the community or not.
Yeah.
Some choose to, live the life of the English, or to go back and live the life of the Amish. The majority of them go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the younger generations know the double entendre.
They got some funny names. Yeah.
They do. They absolutely do.
to people who don't go back, what happens to them?
They usually become Mennonites, which is basically Amish with cars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there is Amish people who use electricity and such, but they're just called Mennonites.
Yeah, like they drive cars and they use electricity, but they're pretty much just Amish people with an upgrade.
Yeah.
But do they get like banned? Like they're not allowed to come?
Yeah, they can't go back.
Yeah, they can't go back. Yeah.
They're not allowed to go visit family or.
It's just done. It's
Yep.
done.
Yep.
Pretty crazy how it works.
That's different, but I can't go back to my family either. Dad was given an ultimatum. He said, if I didn't stop talking about what happened to me as a child, I wouldn't have a family.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess I have no family. I gotta try to accept that when somebody who gives birth to you and people like that tell you that if you don't stop talking about what they did to you, that you can't have a family.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, first of all, but it also means they're telling everybody fucked up things because like that's the only way to justify the disappearance. It's really fucking crazy how they are. My parents are fucking twisted. They're crazy people. I don't know what's going on with that. But so I relate in certain ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a feral adult, no question.
Oh yeah. But well, we've reached the end of our time. But
yes, we've reached the end of our time.
Did you have something you wanted to read there quick?
I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Based on everything you know about life and about living as yourself, is your happiness a choice?
No.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I've earned it.
So if you earned it, that means you've chosen to earn it. I think.
Yeah.
I can see how that makes sense. I chose to go on the path that I'm on now, to seek true happiness.
Yeah, I think we choose happiness.
Okay,
for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, for sure. I would say. Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been
'Cause
fun talking to you guys.
I could have chosen to
for
be
sure.
the miserable guy. I could have chosen to be the miserable guy that lives under the bridge.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to be good.
Yeah, me too. I want to be the best
all I
version of
wanna
myself
be.
that I could possibly be at all times.
Yep.
I like kittens and butterflies. And laughing. I like helping old ladies when they drop things. Like one time here, I saw an old lady drop a big bucket of peanuts. So I, what you have to do. You help them out, and then you walk away with a couple of peanuts, and that's what happened. I just get with a few peanuts. I helped her out. That's what you do. I like helping the old ladies too. I like peanuts.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows you have a good heart.
Yep.
Happiness, right? That's his choice.
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I like to though. Hey, check it out. About 2 months ago, I guess it's tell you quick, but 2 months ago, I saw a guy from the States here that I guess at some point we didn't like each other anymore, but I don't know what happened. I'm a difficult person sometimes, so
Mm.
I imagine that something happened. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I saw him, and for some reason he had a big suitcase, and like the roads are like rocks, so you can't just like not like just pulling a suitcase with the wheels normally. It's like
Yeah.
hard. But one of the wheels broke or something like this. I was like, oh shit. And I saw him trying to get help, and I was like, I wasn't sure if it was him or not, because like I just didn't know if it was him. But I was like, something like, hey, I'm lost in English. And you speak English? He goes, yeah. I said, I said, I kind of know who this guy is. I don't think this guy likes me. I said, anyways, do you need help? And it was when he said, really? I was like, oh, that's him. That's him. I was like, I go, yeah, dude, this like, I can't watch you do this. This sucks. And we were walking, and I had to walk up on this hill. So it's like maybe just 500 meters, something like that. And he said, thanks a lot. I said, I'm redeeming myself for whatever I did. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm just gonna do this. Like, that's it. I don't even know why.
It's kind of like when your wife is mad at you, but you don't know why. So you're just like, I don't know what I've done, but I'd like the chance to go to my room and think about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those situations. I totally understand. But oh man,
Thank you for that final moment for me to share.
Of course, dude.
Yep.
Of course, that was great. But thank you so much, dude. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a total awesome conversation. We touched a lot of subjects we normally don't, but I think that's what we need to do here to really branch out and touch our hearts and reach out to people that we normally wouldn't reach out to.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you coming and talking.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, for embracing the crazy. I forget, or I don't realize, like, I lose active. Part of being a public speaker is that that's what I do. Is you have to just let go on your perspective, because your perspective is going to be altered anytime you're talking publicly by whatever is going to affects you. So you just have to barrel through it and be like, do I feel like I'm crazy inside? Do they think I'm crazy? They're like, okay, just relax. The camera's rolling, buddy. You gotta all you have to do is pull it together, and then it's okay. That's my secret. Pull it together. And when you prove you can pull it together, whether you're a public speaker or you're doing whatever you're doing or something like this, as long as you can in real time, like oh shit, fuck, bring it back down to where I need to be. That's all the evidence you need to know about yourself, or someone else needs to know about you to know that you're okay. Because when you are self-modeling that you're okay, and they want to label you something, or you're crazy, or you're mental, whatever this, no, watch this. They don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what that's about.
We've got You're Crazy Volume 1 and 2. We've got Volume 3 on the way. We got the Craig Lewis Guide to Doing the Impossible.
Surviving it and
surviving the impossible.
If you're going to survive it, you have to do it.
Yeah, but
there's another book here, but it's across the room. I'm not going to go get it. It's called Better Days, Mental Health Recovery Workbook, and that's available now in Italian, Swedish, Dutch, French, Spanish, Thai, and other languages. And this book also is available in Spanish as well.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate you coming on again. Yeah. Much love to you. Wish you the best of luck in your journey.
Yep.
And we will gladly have you on anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. I thank you. I thank you for this beautiful opportunity and for the friendship and the brotherhood. And I want to share with all your people the website and email address so you can contact me.
Yep.
You can email me at survivingtheimpossible@gmail.com. And in order to get this book and other books and t-shirts and all sorts of things, please go to sanityIsAfulltimejob.org/collections. SanityIsAfulltimejob.org /collections, and you'll find t-shirts, books of all sorts, all these books we shared about today, and buttons and all sorts of interesting and cool things.
Cool.
And soon the Lisa is the punk rocker t-shirt.
Yes, yeah. I know Craig in particular is
Absolutely. Yep.
He's already got eyes on the pre-order button.
Yep.
But Craig, we appreciate you coming on, man. Man, I can't say it enough. I really cannot.
Yeah.
Traeger, this was a blast.
Yep.
Later.
Can anything up the animal? The animal. It's a big, powerful 4x4. But when the going gets tough, it bares its claws to climb over anything that gets in its way. The animal. The animal. Can anything stop? The animal. The animal. The animal. Clawing its way to the top. The animal. Each sold separately. Batteries not included. New from Galoob.
Show and tell time.
Another teddy bear? My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. He talks, he tells stories, he...
4 batteries not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking to people. I would like you...
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
On April 20th, the Punk Rock Geek Den is celebrating their 1-year anniversary on 4/20, and they're going to have a contest. And this book, The Craig Lewis Guide to Survive the Impossible, is going to be one of the raffle items. And so, thank you. Thanks, James. Thanks, Craig. And thanks to me, because I wrote it. So please support them. And then raffle, however raffles work, whoever wins, however the raffle works, can get this book sent to them. That's the deal. Thank you and congratulations.